On everyone. So we have talked about Damian Lillard and the potential of coming to the Lakers, that the Portland Trail Blazers are currently shopping the number 2 pick, Simons, and basically whatever else to try to go and get another star to pair with Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum. Damian Lillard has even kind of teased a potential Laker trade. I made a whole video last night on this matter. I'll even link it down in the description below if you want kind of the details on Damian Lillard and kind of the updates for a potential Lakers trade. But we know that Portland is actively trying to make a trade to get Damian Lillard another star. If that doesn't work out, even CJ McCollum has said Portland is probably trading Dame. You've also seen Damian Lillard speak out more about a potential Laker trade more than he's ever done, like ever, right? Usually he's either quiet or he just completely shuts it down. Now he is joking, he is laughing, he's doing it. Very likely a pressure play to get Portland to move those picks. Problem is that what star is going to be worth those picks that would actually make a big enough impact to where Damian Lillard could have a chance to win a championship with, say Jeremy Grant, stuff like that, right? Unless Joel Embiid becomes available, they're not. Like what? Karl Anthony Towns, Bradley Beal, Pascal Siakam, like those kind of, like they're not going to Portland and all of a sudden Portland is a title contender, right? Portland would need a star level guy that could have an impact on both sides of the ball that would fit in with a lot of their current core, again, like a Jeremy Grant, stuff like that, but also could make sense next to Damian Lillard to contend for a championship. So I want to explore something. Now, before I get into this, I want to say this is just a thought. I'm not saying that they should do this. I'm not saying that they will do this. I'm not saying anything. It's just a fun video that I want to have a discussion on, and I want to hear people's perspectives. Problem is that if I just jump into this video, like 90% of the people don't actually listen. They just hear the point that I'm about to make, and then they just run wild. So again, it's just a thought. Hear the thought out, and then let me know your opinions down in the comment section below. Instead of the Lakers going and trading for Damian Lillard, right, which is an alternative, right? The Portland Trail Blazers may not be able to find anything for the number 3 pick. If they can't, Damian Lillard is probably going to be on the trade block, and they're probably going to rebuild. Again, no real major stars out there that make sense for Portland. But the Lakers do have stars that make sense for Portland. And what if instead of trading for Damian Lillard, the Lakers trade for the number 3 pick, Simons, you could even go Reddish, basically just take all their young talent, right? Say, we want Sharp, we want Simons, we want the number 3 pick, we want a future first round pick, and we want, whatever else, right? We want Reddish, right? There you go. You get a haul, an absolute haul for Anthony Davis. Again, I just want to preference this. I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying it will happen. I have been in the camp of you don't trade Anthony Davis. But hear me out. Here are the points and why this could make a lot of sense for the Lakers. Number 1 is LeBron James and Anthony Davis time with the Lakers is vastly approaching and coming to an end. LeBron James is already talking about retirement. He's very likely going to have foot surgery in the offseason. And Anthony Davis, when LeBron leaves, does he want to stay with the Lakers? What do the Lakers do? The Lakers either A, keep Anthony Davis and rebuild around him or retool around him and try to find another star, Damian Lillard trade, something like that, right? Or B, they move Anthony Davis before he just walks and they get nothing for Anthony Davis. And if the Lakers could get a package of Simons, Sharp, say Reddish, a future first, and the number 3 pick, that is more than what the Lakers gave up to get Anthony Davis. And the Lakers might have their star in the future in Scoot Henderson. So the number 3 pick very likely could end up being Scoot Henderson. So look at it like this. The Lakers could trade Anthony Davis. They would have Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, right? They would have Austin Reeves. They would have Simons. They would have Cam Reddish. They would have Sharp. They would have Max Christie. They would have D'Angelo Russell, or they could use D'Lo to go and make another trade, maybe get some other young assets, something like that. They could also keep Mo Bamba and develop him and use him if they want. The Lakers basically would have a 15-man roster at that point of young, talented, even star potential level players, and basically expedite a rebuild, right? So imagine, again, you go and you draft Scoot Henderson, who is supposed to be the next big thing and could be the face of the league alongside Victor Wembanyama in the next, 3 years. You get a guy like that. You'd already have Austin Reeves. You'd already have Rui Hachimura. You basically say, instead of us trying to trade our future to go and get a Damian Lillard or a Kyrie Irving or something like that, and we may or may not win an NBA championship. How invested is LeBron going to be when he's already threatening retirement? Anthony Davis, he might just leave us when LeBron decides to leave, and we're stuck with nothing, and we maybe have, Damian Lillard, and that's it? And now we're in a worse position than Portland was with Damian Lillard. There's a real argument for that. And to keep this money train rolling, you trade Anthony Davis again. You get the number 3 pick, you get a future first, you get Reddish, you get Sharp, you get Simons, right? And if you're Portland, because again, Portland is trying to do whatever they can to keep Damian Lillard and contend. Even if Portland gives up, let's say Portland gives up all of that stuff I just mentioned, they would still have Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic, and Anthony Davis as their core 4 guys. They'd still have, Knox. They'd still have several other pieces that they could then go and move some other pieces and some other guys and maybe go get and fill out some of the roster, or go in the offseason and go and get that. Anthony Davis gets to play the 4. You get Nurkic and AD as your kind of twin towers. You got Jeremy Grant as your 3 guard. You got Damian Lillard as your point guard. So you got more than enough defense. You got more than enough talent. That could be a legit team. If everyone can stay healthy, that would be the biggest question, right? And Portland would still have they'd still have quite a bit of money, if I'm not mistaken. They still have $20 million in cap space, somewhere around there. So again, Portland could be in a position to do that. It would make sense for Portland. It makes sense for the Lakers, right? Because now the Lakers are in a rebuild. And now, if you really want to expand this, you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James currently, right? Okay. Now, maybe you win an NBA championship. That's great. If you win an NBA championship, then who cares, right? If you have to have a 5-year hiatus, but you're able to trade for Damian Lillard and win an NBA championship. Again, the Lakers were just in the Western Conference Finals, right? Some people think that wasn't an anomaly. Some people think it was just circumstance. Some people equate and say Memphis, they had injuries. The Warriors, they were a mess, right? And maybe that is, but that's just the playoffs period, right? Miami got to the point where they're at because Giannis got hurt, and then they got to play the Knicks, and then Boston just fell apart. But now Boston's looking like they're coming back, right? Denver got to play a Suns team that lost 2 of their best players, had no depth, no defense, no anything. That's just how it goes, right? That's just how it works. Golden State, their entire dynasty run have been, helped with various injuries and stuff. I mean, even in the first round, right? De'Aaron Fox gets hurt, breaks his finger, and he was never the same. That's just the NBA. That's playoffs, right? Who can be the healthiest? Who kind of gets the lucky balls to kind of bounce their way, so to speak? Lakers had that happen, right? So there's a real argument. Push your chips to the table. You were just in the Western Conference Finals with a team that was basically Mickey Mouse together. Go get a Damian Lillard. Add them to Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt. Then at that point, you basically got your core 6, 7 guys. Go and fill out the rest of your roster. with vet minimum guys at that point, because who cares, and go win an NBA championship, right? If you win an NBA championship, maybe you even win 2, and if you get a Damian Lillard, maybe that's enough to keep Anthony Davis, right? Say LeBron leaves, Anthony Davis could look at it as like, oh, me and Damian Lillard with the right pieces, we could compete for another championship or 2, right? That's a real possibility. So there is a real argument for the rebuild that I mentioned, but there's also a real argument for push your chips to the table and go and contend for an NBA championship, even if it's not Damian Lillard, like any star. If another star, like Trae Young, something like that, right? Like there's an argument for the Lakers to make that push. But if the Lakers were to say, hey, let's trade Anthony Davis to Portland, let's get this incredible young package, we get our potential superstar of the future in Scoot Henderson, we get Sharp, who is great for Portland, we get Simons, who is a vacuum scorer and could develop into quite a solid shooting guard. You could get a Cam Reddish, who would give you another sizable 3-and-D small forward, and he was great for Portland and the time that he played. You already have Austin Reeves. You already have Rui Hachimura. You basically have all your young core, right? Lakers are ready for rebuild. You could even expand it further because you've already unloaded Anthony Davis. Take LeBron James. Trade him to the Golden State Warriors. Go get Jordan Poole, Kuminga. Maybe you could get Moody or an Andrew Wiggins. And if you don't think that that is a good enough foundation for the future, if you're the Lakers, that might be the best position the Lakers have ever been in. Like, think of the riches that the Lakers would have. So, just to put this in perspective, the Lakers would have, again, their core group. So, basically think of everybody on the Lakers roster right now outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They'd have to cut some guys, but that's what you got, like Shaquille Harrison. You're going to lose Troy Brown. You know, think of like the core guys. Think of basically the 7 guys that played for the Lakers in the playoffs. And then remove LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Lonnie Walker, right? So basically that brings you to D'Angelo Russell. You can waive Malik Beasley if you need to. You can waive Mo Bamba if you need to. Shaquille Harrison, right? So basically it boils down to Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt. Right? Those are your 4 guys. And then you'd have Max Christie as your rookie. You'd also have the 17th pick this year. You'd also have the 47th pick this year. Then, coming in for LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you would have Sharp, you would have Simons, you would have Scoot Henderson, you would have Cam Reddish, you would have Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins. You can go a multitude of reasons, or multitude of ways, right? One, you could spend a year or 2, keep these guys, develop these guys, and see which ones are the guys, right? Maybe Jordan Poole. So Jordan Poole averages 26 a game when he's not playing alongside Steph Curry. Maybe that's who he is, right? Let's say Scoot Henderson turns into like that 2-way point guard. You got Jordan Poole, let's say, turns into like the star you need. Right? Well, now you have D'Angelo Russell that you can use to trade. Let's say Kuminga turns into like a real star. Well, now you have Simons, D'Lo, you have Cam Reddish, you have Jared Vanderbilt, you have all these guys that you can package together and go get another star. You know, like, you never know what star becomes available until they become available. But like, let's say Devin Booker becomes available, right? Well, now you have enough young assets to go and get Devin Booker and keep like a Scoot Henderson, a Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves. Maybe Max Christie turns into like this stud. You know, it's like you got such a, you might have the best pool of young talent in the league at that point. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have teams like Oklahoma City that you can make an argument for. Orlando's got some nice, but I mean, Jordan Poole has already shown great signs. He was terrible and disappeared in the playoffs. How much was just circumstances with Draymond Green and all that stuff? But you have him, you'd have Kuminga, you'd also get draft picks in the Golden State deal. So you basically would have a young core that now you could build for the future and start putting and piecing everything together and really kind of rebuild in a proper manner. And you'd also have you'd have enough assets at that point to, again, say Rui turns into something, Reeves continues to shine, Christie turns into the next big thing. Let's say, you got, say Scoot Henderson, right? Those become a thing. You maybe sign a center in the offseason because you got cap space now and stuff, right? Okay, cool. So you go and you do that. You got your core structure, and it's like, man, we're Devin Booker away from an NBA championship. Well, there you go. Go trade for Devin Booker. Go win an NBA championship. I don't know. Again, not saying that they should do this. Not saying it would happen. Portland is desperate for another star. You could trade Anthony Davis to them and get a really great return. And then at that point, trade LeBron James to the Warriors and get that good return. Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and 2 firsts. I would actually probably rather go with Moody than Andrew Wiggins, in my opinion. Right? I'd rather go 2 firsts, Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and Wiggins, and Moody, because at that point, if you've traded Anthony Davis for a young package and you're trading LeBron, you want as much young talent as possible. Not that Andrew Wiggins is super old, but you want to go as young and upside, but you know what Andrew Wiggins is. There's not that what can Andrew Wiggins become, where that is the case for Kuminga, that is the case for Poole, that is the case for Moody. What can Moses Moody evolve into with the proper development, right? That's why I would probably go that route. That's about as good of a return as you would ever get for that type of thing. But again, strictly just a fun discussion video. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know however you feel down in the comments below. Would you love something like this? Do you think actually the Lakers should do something like this? Do you think no, absolutely no way? You're in a position where you can contend, go and contend. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.